talking about what you can't hide, or you can't hide this from your doctor. That's his title. You can't hide this from your doctor. And it's called, subtitle, The Tattletale Within You. Should be an exciting call tonight, and if you have not met Dr. Rouse or heard from him before, heard him speak, you really need to make sure you are at our convention coming up at the end of October, and you will love it when you hear him talk. It just, everything just comes alive, and I learn about the products and about ingredients and what they're for and how they can change my life, and just the best speaker that I've ever heard. And Dr. Rouse is a doctor of natural medicine. He is also a registered pharmacist and an ordained minister. And Dr. Rouse is our medical spokesperson for Is Xperia, and we really appreciate him. Dr. Rouse, just want to double check and make sure you're with us.
Hey, Jack. Dr. Rouse is in the house. Good to be with you tonight.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Rouse. Well, what an interesting title you have for us tonight. You can't hide this from your doctor, and the tattletale within you. Tell us about that tonight.
Okay. We're going to start with, some people have already become semi-familiar with one of the factors we're going to talk about tonight. When people go get a physical examination by their physician, a blood profile is often some of the telltale signs. You know, we look at cholesterol, we look at triglycerides, we try to look at the C-reactive protein, we look at different elements to see how is the BUN telling us, is the kidney okay, how is the SGOT, is the liver okay. But one of the amazing things is in medicine is that we've studied the blood cells of the human body. A white blood cell has a very short life, 12 hours max. So, you know, it's going to do all the fighting for you, and believe it or not, every 12 hours, your white blood cells die. So no matter how many billions of them you would have, you have to understand that 1/2 of you dies every 12 hours. Therefore, it's very necessary to keep healthy, to exercise properly, to take good nutrition, and eat perfectly balanced meals. Otherwise, the white blood cells that defend for you are going to be paralyzed or hurt. But tonight we're going to talk about a red blood cell. And the red blood cell, unlike the white blood cell, gets to live a lot longer, 120 days. That's a good 3 months. So looking at it from a different perspective, we found that yes, these red blood cells are made up of protein. And because protein is so vital, it's so rich and so necessary for our physical health, a good balanced nutrition with protein is going to keep you good with the white blood cells, good with the red blood cells. Now, what happens is during this 3 month scenario, this 3 months of life this red blood cell has, sometimes the red blood cell can get coated with sugar. If this person eats a lot of carbohydrates in the day, you know, they are into pasta, they are into rice, they are into potatoes, they are into whole wheat bread, they're into ice cream, they're into soda pops, they're into candy bars, they're into desserts. All that is sugar. And goodness gracious, when the glucose gets flowing, it looks for a raft to take a ride on. And the red blood cells, being so big and huge and humongous, this beautiful red pigment, it's called hemoglobin. It's designed to be oxygen rich. But if this red blood cell that's floating up and down in the blood for 120 days bumps into a sugar molecule that did not get dissolved, or a sugar molecule because that person has overeaten sugar during that meal, that little rascal will stick right to that red blood cell. So it actually literally physically becomes sugar-coated. And M&M's thought they had the doesn't melt in your hand, only in your mouth type of candy, sugar-coating the chocolate. Here's a case where a red blood cell gets sugar-coated. That's called glycosylation. And anytime it gets got glycosylated or glycated, any of those names are fine, a glycated red blood cell is going to become toxic. It's going to become useless. The oxygen is not available. The body is going to be weak. The stream of energy is going to be lacking. But here's what happens. We draw your blood, and now with modern technology, we can actually measure the percentage of hemoglobin that is sugar-coated in your blood. That's called a hemoglobin A1C test. And because these A1C tests are very accurate, the doctor will say, well, have you been eating any Oreo cookies lately, or have you been snacking on Snicker bars lately? And they say, oh, no, doctor, I haven't done that. And the doctor says, well, your red blood cell right here, 90 days into life, about to die, it's still carrying that Oreo cookie or that Bluebell ice cream, or it has that Coca-Cola syrup wrapped all around it. And, high fructose corn syrup is a grain. Corn is a grain, and anytime you get grain in the blood, any type of grains, it just maximizes, it intensifies the sugar coating. So when you get your A1C, we're going to try to get everybody in the Xperia family into the ideal 5. Unfortunately, anything above 6 is bad, and most diabetics are way up there, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12% glycated hemoglobin. That means they are actually sticky inside out and all about. So we're talking tonight about the great glycation race. How fast or how slow are you glycating the proteins in your body? Now, here's a good abbreviation to remember. An advanced glycation end product, like a red blood cell that has sugar-coated. Advanced glycation end products are actually the best marker we have for how fast you're going to age. I guarantee you that if your A1C is above 5, in the 6.5, 7, 8, 9 range, you're going to sag. You're going to wrinkle. You're going to get older faster. Your kidneys are going to give up quicker. Your lungs are not going to be as sharp. Your heart's going to probably somewhere down the line have a cardiovascular collapse. All these things are age-related. So, yes, it is true that some 80-year-old folks are actually living in a 40 or 50-year-old body, whereas some 40 and 50-year-old folks are living in an 80-year-old body, all because of advanced glycation end products. It's very serious to take sugar serious. And most people are going to, say, well, I'm really going to get savvy here on what to do about how to cut. I'm going to cut those snacks and those pies and cakes and birthday cakes and ice cream. I'm just going to put them down right now. I'm going to be better about it. And because, like other proteins of the body, hemoglobin is just one factor of protein, it can easily become subject to glycation. It can get old fast. Now, that also goes for other protein. Like the lens of your eye, like the protein of your kidney, like the heart. All those things can become sugar-coated, and they will absolutely age very quickly. So if you were to take a very slender person with a normal insulin response who really does consume limited amounts of carbohydrates, they'll pretty much have a perfect A1C of 4.0. Now, you're not going to find that in many people. They're going to be very conscientious about what they eat and already slim. But for those that are overweight, those who do imbibe in carbohydrates like rice and pasta and potatoes and whole wheat bread and things like that, pizza, their glycation is going to be right up there at a very high level. So here we go. The trip to the all-you-can-eat pasta bar has got to be, no, you got to ixnay that. No doubt that when you go to an Italian restaurant and you order the big pasta bowl, they're going to double up on the Italian bread. They're going to definitely try to encourage you with those good Italian desserts. And, you know, spumoni is a hard thing to turn down. But here comes the high fructose again, and believe me, anything with sugar will stick to a red blood cell. It's a given point. A1C is easily to measure. So if we are a standard American diet and we have all these high glucose moments, we're always imbibing in rice or potato or pasta. We're definitely eating a lot of sandwiches, plenty of whole wheat, plenty of cereal, plenty of Pop-Tarts, plenty of donuts. We are high glucose. And if you do that in a one-day period, breakfast, lunch, and supper, imagine somebody eating cereal for breakfast and then having a sandwich at lunch and then having a roll at supper or pasta or potato. That's called high glucose for the day. And when you sustain that kind of high glucose, you are going to glycate your hemoglobin. You are glycating. AGE, advanced glycation end products, not good at all. And the higher your A1C goes, the more glycating the protein becomes, and that's where cataracts occur. Lensing of the eye gets cataracts, kidneys become failed, arteries become stiff, bypass surgery becomes a necessity. Hey, look, anybody who's ever had a stent or a bypass surgery, they have already shown us that they are very high glycators. They are very high in the glycation. So we need to come in and we need to learn, what can I do to stay at 5.0? Now, here's going to be a big surprise to you tonight. Probably the most detrimental, damaging, red blood cell hurting element in the human standard American diet is bread. And then you say, oh, but I eat whole wheat bread. Well, let me tell you, I got bad news for you. Whole wheat bread increases your blood sugar levels higher than even other breads, but all breads are going to be high in glycation. 2 pieces of whole wheat bread is actually worse. It actually has a higher glycemic index than a can of Coca-Cola or a candy bar. Over on the right side there, look for it just a moment. Whole grain bread, glycemic index is 72. That's too high. Shredded wheat cereal, 67. Table sugar, 59. Did you see that? A spoonful of Dixie Crystal white refined sugar has a lower glycemic index than 2 slices of whole wheat, whole grain bread. And I know you're using a low-fat turkey, good old piece of lettuce, lots of tomato, a little bit of mayonnaise, but it's the bread. It's the whole grain bread that's throwing this whole thing out of whack. 2 pieces of whole grain bread have a higher glycemic index than a Mars bar. That's chocolate, nougat, and caramel included, and way higher than a Snicker bar. Snicker bar, small size, comes in at 41, far better than whole grain bread. No, I'm not saying that it's okay to eat Snicker bars, Mars bars, ice cream, Coca-Colas, etc. What we are looking at is how to control this mechanism. And if you were to be honest with you, go back in your family photo album and flip through your parents, or go back to your grandparents' family album. You're gonna be really amazed at how thin most everybody in the picture is. Back then, most women wore a size 4 dress. Most men had a 32 waist. Overweight was just a few pounds. Obesity was rare. Rarely would you see a fat child. And almost nobody had a 42 waist. That was just a no-no. And would you never see a 200-pound teenager? But that is not the scenario today. The waist are up around 42, 200 pounds is just a standard weight these days. And I guarantee you, that if you never saw your grandma ever putting on jogging shoes to go run 3 miles. But nowadays you see everybody out there jogging, riding their bicycles, power walking. And the reason is because we have become very whole grain manipulated. See, in 1985, the farming industry, they were trying to get grain. They tried to make it where we could get more per acre. They tried to get it where it was bug resistant. Oh, they started messing with it. They started giving us hybrid brands and genetic modifications. And unfortunately, the bread today, from 1985 on, is not the bread that your mom or your grandma ate. It is a totally different monster. And we're finding now that by A1C standards, by advanced glycation end products, by the fact that people are showing us in their blood studies, we already knew it by their measurements of the waist, by the poundage, by the inability to lose weight no matter how structured or disciplined or how much they jogged or walked or rode bicycles. And people who have a high A1C, people who eat a lot of wheat bread, that, by the way, wheat stimulates the appetite. It messes with the brain chemistry called X-orphins. That's very close to an endorphin. And an X-orphin is very aggressive in making you want to eat more, eat junk food, eat more sugar stuff. And anytime you start glycating, that means that your immune system's going down, your liver and your kidneys taking a beating. And all these things are against us. The fat liver we talked about last week, fat kidneys, fat pancreases, fat hearts, fat blood vessels, all of these things are going against us. So I think tonight, that maybe Dr. Charlie has probably given somebody a little bit of motivation to say, you know what, I think in real honesty to my better health, I need to check my A1C level. We need to get you at 5. 5 is the good number. And number 2 on the list is we need to get you away from whole wheat breads. We need to quit eating hot dogs and hamburgers and pizzas. We need to take a lot of the bread. Matter of fact, we probably all need to totally go grain-free, bread-free for a long time just to get our health back. But in the sensible time, I have some great news for you. When you utilize the OPC Plus, that is a powerful A1C regulator. So remember that. Out of all the Xperia family products, the A1C is killing us. The OPC Plus is helping us. So if you're high on A1C, your dose is 2 scoops twice a day. Put that in the scenario. Fix that on a daily regimen. And the second thing that will give yourself a bump, I'm talking about will literally take you off of the sugar roller coaster, will help to control the little chemistries like the endorphins and the X-orphins. That's called calorie-free. And we do it with the Ervingia, we do it with the nut that we get from Africa, we do it with the sour green cider apple that we get from Finland. And it is absolutely amazing that when you put combination OPC Plus, calorie-free together, those two together, you're going to give yourself a mighty boost in the healthy direction. And I guarantee you that if you really will take a hard look at whole wheat bread, those are not good for you. They're not healthy for you. Though we've been sold a bill of goods that whole wheat is the way to go, it is not. And because it is not, we're going to find ourselves when we ungrain ourselves and OPC and calorie-free ourselves that we're going to get healthier faster. So I bet a lot of people had no idea that the little tattletale within them was an Oreo stuck to their red blood cell taking a 90-day ride up and down the highway. It is amazing where we are in the world of medicine. And that's it, Jack. That's what I was talking about.
That's amazing. I actually heard this talk you gave last weekend. We had 40 people at a meeting, and boy, they were astonished at this. And you did tell us a bread that would be fine for us. I think we find it in the refrigerator section, and we keep it in our refrigerator. Is that because that bread is alive? It's got sprouts that are alive?
100%. It is a sprouted bread. One of the brand names that's popular worldwide is called Ezekiel bread. It's in every grocery store in America. And Ezekiel bread uniquely is that the grain that would be in there, that is in there, is true organic. So they have not genetically modified it. They have not cross-hybrid it. Unfortunately, a lot of the wheat today, it is healthier. They can grow it faster, more acreage, and it is bug resistant. But because of the hybridization and the genetic modifications, bread ain't what bread used to be.
And I know we had a few questions that we can get to here. One is, let's see, what was our first question? Diana wanted to know, is white bread worse than this? I know you'd mentioned if we can just cut out all bread and get the Ezekiel bread. Is white bread worse than this?
Yeah, white bread's going to even be worse than that because white bread's been so refined and so enzyme discombobulated. It would be like it's more on the category of a child's first grade paste. It has no nutrition value whatsoever. None. Zero.
Oh, me. And then Mike McCormick wanted to know, what about oatmeal? Now, Gloria finds an oatmeal for us, I think, at one of the Whole Food stores, but also at Publix, it's an organic oatmeal. But what about oatmeal?
Okay. It is true. It is true that whole grain, an oat is a whole grain. So is corn, and so is wheat. And yes, oatmeal is allowed. Oatmeal is allowed. Now, let's say, Jack, that somebody had an extremely high A1C. They had a big belly. They are very stubborn and tenacious in losing weight. They walk a lot, eat better, take right vitamins, and still can't lose weight. They're going to probably have to give us maybe one good week, maybe a whole month of true no grain, period. But yes, oatmeal is allowed. Oatmeal is okay.
Okay, and better the organic? I guess I'm assuming that
better
would be
the organic.
Okay.
You ought to open a grocery store. I'd buy from you.
No. Let's see. Mary in Maine wanted to know, how much calorie-free a day should we take?
If somebody had a good A1C, 5 already, that's 3 per day. If somebody is out of whack, that's 6.5, 6.8, 7 or higher, that's going to be 6 a day. 3 for breakfast, 3 for supper.
Okay. And either take it right before the meal, during the meal, or even after?
We used to always try to say take it before the meal, because we were trying to curb appetite. But truly and medically, Jack, they can take it in the middle of the meal. They can take it after a meal. They can take it 30 minutes after a meal, an hour before. It doesn't matter. Whenever they do, it's fine.
Okay, and I saw where Karen from Virginia was saying that she likes the Ezekiel bread. And it is good. I actually tried it, and it took me about a week to really get used to it. But now I kind of like it better. I don't know why. It just tastes better. So
I do promise people that an A1C at 5, they're going to feel so young, so vibrant. They have no idea how good people can feel. No idea how good people can feel.
And Karen was saying that it makes great toasted sandwiches. Absolutely. Let's see, what was Charles Mullen was saying? If you want good abs, forget the sit-ups. It's diet.
I agree.
Well, that's good. And also Jamie Delaney, let's see, what are good carbohydrates we should have?
The fruits, the real fruits. It's like if God made it, doesn't come in a box. Lots of your vegetables and fruits and vegetables are good carbohydrates. Excellent choices.
Okay. And Diana wanted to know again. She said, if we already have lines on our face, will they go away? Now, I guess they could use our skincare line. We've got, I know that the our Is Lift makes them go away temporarily for about eight hours, but we do have the DNA Plus, which I know you've talked about how that actually will grow new skin cells in 5 days. So that's pretty strong.
Very strong. And actually, I was working on a PowerPoint today and last Friday on the inside out issue of how our products topically and internally are great. And yes, to her question, as soon as her A1C goes down to 5, wrinkles almost invariably become much easier to tend to. So all of your products that you're applying and taking will maximize. You'll see the benefits quicker.
Oh, okay, so that actually, with all the sugars in our blood and all that we have in the whole wheat, that actually, as you said, that ages us pretty fast.
Yeah, and look how many people every morning, say, well, I'm going to have me a poppy seed muffin or a whole bran muffin, or, we've been sold a bill of goods that wheat is wheat, but I don't know about that. And I hate to be the villain on this thing, but me personally, I have struggled to lose weight, and so I got into this research for my own personal benefit, and I realized that the culprit, the quagmire, the log jam in my river was the wheat. So I took it out, and man, I have seen the difference in energy, and I've already lost quite a bit of weight.
So just by getting rid of the whole wheat, getting off of that, getting on the Ezekiel bread, which I don't eat a lot of it, but just a little, that will actually help us lose weight.
Yeah, I eat it every morning for breakfast. Okay,
and I guess for the distributors and guests on the phone side, I know people have been spelling the Ezekiel bread. It's Ezekiel. E as in Edward, Zekiel. So, and I think that's, as Deb wrote in here, that's from Ezekiel 4:0. That was from the Bible about talking about the bread. Is that correct? Is that how that bread came about?
It is. It is made from a biblical recipe with old-fashioned millet. I've used millet in my medical practice, for people it helps grow hair. So, pretty good thing.
Okay, well, good. I saw where Deb said they actually make a wrap. I did not see that. That would be good to have a sandwich in a Ezekiel wrap.
Yeah, all of that stuff is. Yeah, mate. Just go online, check it out. Go to your grocery store, and now it is over there in the ice cream freezer section. Then we keep ours in the refrigerator once we get it to the house. And
let's see, I know we have a minute left, but I did see one of the older questions that said, what about brown rice? And then Victoria said, I've heard that, is it quinoa is a good substitute for rice?
Yes, and rice is okay. Oatmeal and rice will be over there in moderation, and yes, brown rice is good. Matter of fact, we chose a brown rice in our simple meal, in our new protein shake, because of its high quality protein. We were able to find stuff that was not genetically modified, was not bent out of shape. Okay. We got a good product coming. When's that coming, Jack?
Well, I'm hoping either we're looking for the end of this week or first of next week. We are ready for that meal replacement shake. I'm ready for it, and I've heard that it's just going to be about $1.50, $1.60 per meal. So we're going to be saving a lot of money on that. And Karen is upset because she said no more hot homemade rolls. I think that's right, Dr. Rouse.
I know it. I've already started. My mind's already jumped to November, Thanksgiving. I'm a big dressing eater, but you know what? It depends. I may have already hit my goal, may have my A1C at a good level, and then I can treat myself to some dressing.
And have it as a treat. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, well, thank you so much, Dr. Rouse. It was a great call tonight. We need to have some more of these and maybe have some calls where you give us a list of some things that we can substitute and start on, which I know you taught me how to, rather than eating white baked potatoes, which I so much loved, start eating baked sweet potatoes, which it took me a little while, but now I think baked sweet potatoes taste better. And I used to have to put, and I hate to say this, sour cream on it to at least get it done, and I know that was bad, but now I put nothing on there. It tastes so good. It just took me a while to get there.
I got you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. Well, thanks, everyone, for being on the call tonight. Great call. We'll talk to everyone Thursday night on our business opportunity call. We'll see you there, and have a great night, and God bless. Good night.